Good evening. You are tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. The King decrees that the new Prime Minister must seek a vote of confidence in Parliament as soon as possible. Stay tuned for more. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong has decreed that the new Prime Minister must seek a vote of confidence in Parliament immediately. In a statement by Istana Negara, the confidence vote is necessary to prove legitimately that the Prime Minister has the majority. The palace added that the king will also chair a special conference of rulers meeting on Friday to discuss the current situation. Yesterday, the king and His Majesty's deputy met leaders of all major political parties. Both rulers conveyed to the parties and their MPs have to work together to focus on the COVID-19 response and economic recovery. His Majesty reminded the heads and representatives of major parties that to ensure harmony, the MPs who win must reach out to those who did not. With the statutory declaration sent to Istana Negara earlier, there have been no official confirmation yet on who will be Malaysia's 9th Prime Minister. Frontrunners at the moment include UMNO Vice President Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and Opposition Leader Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. To discuss the current political situation in the country, we have with us Professor Dr. Sivamurugan Pandian, Political Analyst from University Science Malaysia. Thank you, Professor, for joining us tonight. Let's get straight to it. SDs from MPs have been sent to Istana Negara. From the look of things, has the situation settled on who will be the next Prime Minister?
Well, with the SDs sent to the palace, I assume it is settled and we shall wait for the official statement from the palace itself. However, whether that will settle the entire crisis depends on how the majority looks like. Second, whether there will be clear favourite candidate. And above all, third, whether the king consents the candidate himself, with both blocs, the ruling and the opposition, struggling to maintain numbers and trying to pacify each other for a new realignment. Anything is possible at the end, Farhana.
Now, whoever is the next PM will have to govern during an extremely challenging situation, not just because of the pandemic, but politically as well. With that in mind, how do you think the Prime Minister can ensure stability in the new administration?
Well, for myself, I think whoever takes over the premiership and government, first, they must strengthen inner-party relationship. We have seen the worst in the last 18 months. Maybe this is time to revisit and also try to reconcile within the party itself. Second, collaboration among the Grand Coalition members must be cordial. And also, I think those who will be the next Prime Minister must hold olive branch to their opponents to work together. This will allow to cease fire on political character assassination, rebel politics, and move towards consultative approach with all those who are involved. And I think that might bring stability in the new administration until the mandate is returned to the people one day.
Prof, now based on what you said just now, in your opinion, what kind of cabinet structure should the PM establish, especially during a time when no party is too dominant?
Well, for myself, I think the structure of the cabinet needs to be small. It was too huge if you look at the previous government, with members from various backgrounds who will become an example to the others. We have seen how some cabinet members were criticized for their statement and arrogant in their reactions. Maybe it's time to focus on those who have expertise to manage crisis and how people agenda will become their priority. Maybe war cabinet is an option for now.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor, for your insights. That was Professor Dr. Sivamurugan Pandian from USM. Continuing our discussion, UMNO's PM nominee, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, is said to be current frontrunner in the race for the post. Will he resurrect the recently resigned PN cabinet? Tonight on Consider This, we ask UMNO insider Shahri Samad if what his party wants is aligned with what the country needs. That's coming up. The current political turmoil in the country, coupled with the worrying COVID-19 situation, have weakened investor sentiment in Malaysia. Economist Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Yusof Sa'ri outlines what needs to be done to restore investors' confidence.
This is not the right time to assess the level of investor confidence because this is crisis time. the crisis period. So investor will react and see, wait and see, until they confident about the Malaysian economic condition and of course the recoveries. That's the most important. So of course, political system and conditions affect the FDI inflow to our country. But in our case, in today in particular, and in our condition right now, the indicators of economic recovery, how we are serious in terms of economic recovery, that is the most important.
Yusuf stressed the importance of
related to investment, for example, which is at the end we want to have more competitive investment environment, for example. This will not be happens because of the small majority from the government, because from investor perspective they see that this is important for them, so they are looking forward for the revisions or the new acts or new legislation. But from political perspective, we could not do the reform because of we have the government have a small majority. So this has indirectly or directly both political stability and economic concern, in particular from the investor perspective, affect each other.
We will go for a quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Only 4 fully vaccinated individuals had died of COVID-19 out of nearly 13,000 fatalities recorded in the country. According to Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, this was based on recent clinical audit data analysis on breakthrough deaths. He said a further 80 deaths involved individuals who had received a single dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. The death involved 3 patients with underlying medical conditions and 1 elderly patient. COVID cases hit a new record high with 22,242 new infections today, with a total of 225 deaths reported in the last 24 hours. Despite COVID-19 infections remain stubbornly high, businesses say perhaps it is time to think about the pandemic differently. While more economic sectors were allowed to reopen this week, many non-essential businesses remain closed. We speak to the chairman of Yayasan Usahawan Malaysia, Nitesh Malani, on how to approach the reopening of such sectors.
There are many more variants or mutations that are going to come. We have seen this not only in Malaysia, but I think in countries like Japan and the United States, where they have seen new variants coming in.
To search for survivors from the quake, many still missing or under the rubble. Saturday's tremor knocked down tens of thousands of buildings in Haiti, which is still recovering from an earthquake 11 years ago that killed over 200,000 people. That is all we have for you on AWANI Tonight. Get the latest news update on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and the Astro AWANI app. I'm Farhana Sheikh. We'll see you again.